The hustle that got you here, it won't get you where you want to go. When you first started your business, hustling was necessary. You were wearing all the hats and working crazy hours, but if you're still operating like that, now you are likely exhausted and it's actually keeping you stuck. Hello, and welcome back to the Blissful Mompreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Christina Hall, and I'm so grateful you're tuning in today. In both 2019 and 2022, I baby-proofed my small business so it could not only run without me, but to thrive without me, allowing me to take 2 precious 4-month maternity leaves with my babies. Those moments were made possible by the team and systems I built, and now I'm on a mission to help you create the same freedom in your life. So you built your business with passion and hard work, but that can only take you so far. At some point, the very thing that made your business successful, your ability to do it all, starts holding you back. Your business becomes stagnant, and you begin to realize that you are the bottleneck. And if you have a baby on the way, that's an even bigger reason to make the shift I'm about to talk about. You don't want to be the mom whose kids remember her as always on her phone, answering emails at the dinner table, or sneaking in work while they're playing. You built this business for more freedom, not less, right? Here's the good news. Transitioning from being the operator in your business to stepping into your role as CEO doesn't just give you time back, it actually helps your business grow bigger than you ever imagined. But I get it. If you're still in the daily grind of your business, answering client emails, handling bookings, putting out fires, you might be thinking, but Christina, if I step back, things will fall apart. And I hear you because I was you. Before my first maternity leave, my entire business revolved around me. I was answering every email, handling every student inquiry, teaching until 9 p.m. most nights, and I thought I could sustain this while pregnant. Spoiler alert, I could not. I have a vivid memory of one morning when I was about 4 months pregnant. I was standing in the shower, completely exhausted from another bad night's sleep, when I suddenly dropped to my knees and began crying. How was I going to take time off? How was my business going to survive without me? That was my wake-up call. I had 2 choices: keep pushing through, running myself into the ground, or step into the CEO role and build a business that could run without me. I chose the latter, and that decision changed everything. Not only did I take 2 4-month maternity leaves, but my business actually grew while I was away. And that's exactly what we're talking about today, how you can shift from hustling nonstop to running your business like a true CEO so you can step back without everything falling apart. By the end of this episode, you'll know the mindset shifts, systems, and leadership strategies that took me from overworked and overwhelmed to running a 6-figure business that operates smoothly even when I'm not there. So if you're ready to stop being the business and start leading it, let's dive in. Okay, here's a reality check. The hustle that got you here, it won't get you where you want to go. When you first started your business, hustling was necessary. You were wearing all the hats and working crazy hours, but if you're still operating like that, now you are likely exhausted, and more than that, it's actually keeping you stuck. So imagine you're in a tiny rowboat, paddling furiously to get across a huge lake. In the beginning, that effort makes sense. You have to paddle or you won't move. But if you keep doing that forever, what happens? You get tired. Your arms start to burn, and you can't go any faster no matter how hard you try. But what if instead of paddling harder, you built a motor for your boat? Suddenly you're moving faster with less effort. And that's what shifting out of hustle mode and into CEO mode does. It replaces your manual effort with systems that do the work for you. When you're stuck in hustle mode, you're reactive. Your day is dictated by everyone else's needs. You may be wise enough to have a to-do list, but the second your phone dings or you check your inbox, you're off putting out fires. Your business feels chaotic. There's no consistency, no standard way of doing things. Everything is in your head, which means every decision, every problem, every task comes back to you. Hustle mode leaves 0 room for delegation because when things only exist in your head, you can't hand them off. I used to wake up, grab my laptop, and open my email first thing. My entire day was spent responding to whatever was in there. By the time my inbox was clear, I'd have to teach back-to-back lessons until 9 p.m. I had spent all those hours working, and I didn't do anything that actually moved my business forward. And the irony of it all is that I thought I was being productive, and I didn't understand why I wasn't growing. If my story resonates with you, you're in the right place. Hustle culture lies to us. It makes us think that being busy means we're successful, that if we're working harder than everyone else, we're winning. But true success, it's not about how many hours you put in. It's about the impact you create. And that impact, it comes when you shift from doing everything to leading everything. So let's talk about what that shift actually looks like. Imagine truly stepping away from your business. No checking emails, no putting out fires, no answering last-minute client requests. If that thought makes you uneasy, you're not alone. Many small business owners believe their business would fall apart without them, but the reality is that clinging to every task keeps you stuck in a cycle of exhaustion. Shifting from business operator to CEO is about working smarter. A CEO sets the vision, makes strategic decisions, and empowers others to execute. One of the hardest things for many business owners is trusting others to handle important tasks. There's a belief that no one will do it as well as you, and that thought alone keeps you trapped in a never-ending to-do list. But imagine what would happen if instead of holding on tightly, you focused on building a team that could take ownership. During my first pregnancy, I convinced myself that I could keep up my usual workload. I told myself I'll just push through, and for a while I did. Until that one day that I shared earlier where I dropped to my knees in the shower. The weight of trying to do everything, teaching and managing, answering emails, it was suffocating. I knew something had to change, but I felt paralyzed by the idea of handing off responsibilities. What finally made the difference was that shift in mindset. I had to step into my role as a leader. Instead of asking, how can I keep doing this? I started asking, who can help me with this? When you step into the CEO role, your focus changes. You stop measuring success by how much you personally accomplish and start measuring it by how well your business runs without your direct involvement. A CEO delegates with intention. They don't just assign tasks, but they empower their team to take ownership. They prioritize vision over daily operations. They ensure the business is moving in the right direction rather than getting lost in busy work. And they make decisions based on strategy, not urgency. So instead of reacting to problems all day, the focus is on long-term growth. Now, take a minute to just reflect. If you only had 5 hours a week to work on your business, what would you focus on? Likely the most high-impact tasks, the ones that drive growth, build systems, and strengthen your team. That's the CEO level thinking. Those are the CEO level tasks. Now, think about one task you do every day that someone else could easily handle. What's stopping you from passing it off? If the answer is, it's just easier to do it myself, that's hustle mode talking. Stepping into CEO mode means trusting the process, investing in your team, and recognizing that letting go of control doesn't mean losing control. It just means gaining freedom. Once you shift into CEO mode, the next step is building systems that allow your business to function smoothly, whether you're actively working or not. Think of your business like a well-designed machine. If you have to be there turning every knob and pulling every lever, it's not going to work. Systems take the guesswork out of the daily operations, ensuring that everything runs the same way every time, no matter who is handling it. And this is what allows you to step away without things falling apart. Think about a coffee shop. When a barista makes your favorite latte, they don't have to ask the owner how to make the latte. They follow a process, one that was taught to them and is followed by everyone on the team. Your business needs the same kind of consistency. Before my second maternity leave, I handed off sales and lead nurturing to my admins. I was very nervous going into it because this is how we grow our student base, from sales calls. But I took my time and created numerous resources for my admins. I recorded myself conducting sales calls, and I wrote out detailed scripts for the calls. And before I had them speak with a prospect on the phone, I had them role play with me, which allowed me to give them feedback. They were very prepared. And when they finally began handling the sales calls, They were closing them just as well as I did, if not better. And that is precisely what we want. Now, you don't need to systemize and document everything overnight. Start by identifying one repetitive task in your business and document the steps. Write it down like you're explaining it to a new team member. If you already have a team, hand it off and see how they do. This small shift will show you just how powerful systems can be. And once your systems are in place, the next step is making sure your team knows how to use them and feels confident taking ownership of their roles. A system is only as strong as the people running it. And if your team is constantly second-guessing themselves or waiting for you to approve every little decision, you'll be stuck in the middle of everything. This is where true leadership comes in. I used to think that if I just told my team exactly what to do, things would run smoothly. But I quickly realized that if they were only following instructions without understanding why things were being done a certain way, it would change the way they carried out the task. If they knew how it fit into the bigger picture, they could start thinking critically and make decisions without running everything past me. I remember the first time my team made a major decision without me. There was a scheduling conflict that came up, and normally they would have texted me asking what to do, but instead they looked at our SOPs, followed the system, and resolved the issue without me even knowing about it until later. That was the moment I realized it was working. Give them clear guidelines. Set expectations up front. What decisions can they make on their own? What requires your input? Clarity is kind. The more clarity they have, the more confident they'll be. Encourage problem solving. Instead of answering every question immediately, ask, what do you think we should do? This shifts their mindset from waiting for instructions to thinking proactively. And normalize mistakes. No one is going to get everything right 100% of the time. So create a culture where mistakes are learning opportunities, not something to fear. This builds confidence and encourages them to take initiative. Now, think of a decision you typically handle that your team could take care of. Then give them the authority to make the call and see how it goes. The first time will feel uncomfortable, but each step you take in this direction moves you closer to true business freedom. At this point, we've talked about setting up systems and how to empower your team. But even if all of that is in place, there's one thing that can still hold you back, and that's trusting the process and truly letting go. This is the hardest part for so many business owners, especially if you've been running everything yourself for years. There's a deep sense of responsibility, maybe even guilt around stepping back. I remember when I was leaving for my first maternity leave, even though I had systems and a team, I still felt myself hovering. I felt myself wanting to check everything and micromanage everything. Luckily, once my daughter was born, taking care of her took up so much of my time and energy that I didn't have any time left to micromanage. And that was when I started to see what was possible. At some point, you just have to let go. And when you do, the result is complete freedom. The best way to build trust in your systems is to test them before you absolutely need them. So instead of waiting until your maternity leave starts, plan a small trial run now. Maybe you want to take a week off completely. No checking emails, no answering Slack messages, no quick fixes. See how things run without you. Or if that feels too scary, just schedule a silent day each week. So choose one day a week where you're completely unavailable. Let your team work through the challenges without you as their safety net. Each time you do this, you'll improve your systems and build more confidence that your business can run without you. It's important to remember that if something does go wrong, it's not the end of the world. Mistakes can usually be fixed. Clients can be reassured. And systems can always be tweaked. Your business won't crumble just because you're not there every second. In fact, the more you step back, the stronger it becomes because it forces your team to grow, adapt, and lead. And most importantly, you deserve this. You've put in the work, built the foundation, and created something that can stand on its own. So when the time comes to take that maternity leave, you can do it with peace of mind, knowing that you've set yourself, your team, and your business up for success. Shifting from hustle mode to CEO mode isn't just about working less. It's about working differently. It's about leading with a clear vision instead of reacting to everything, It's about trusting your systems, empowering your team, and giving yourself the space to step back. If you still feel like your business needs you to function, I want you to know that it doesn't have to be that way. You are allowed to step into a leadership role that gives you freedom, not just for maternity leave, but for the long run. If this transition feels big, that's because it is, but you don't have to do it all at once. Start with small shifts. Every step you take brings you closer to a business that runs smoothly without you. Now, while knowledge is great, action is what creates real change. So, here's your challenge. Pick one thing from this episode and implement it this week. Maybe it's documenting a process, delegating a recurring task, or testing your business by scheduling a week off or a day off. Whatever it is, take that first step. You can build a business that gives you the freedom you deserve. You can take a stress-free maternity leave, and you can step fully into your CEO role with confidence. I can't wait to hear how this episode resonates with you. If you have any questions or you want to share anything, DM me on Instagram at the Blissful Mompreneur. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're pregnant and planning for maternity leave, don't forget to grab my free 6-step maternity leave planning guide. It covers everything from how much time to take off to creating a financial plan. You'll find the link to the guide in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a fellow mompreneur who might benefit from the advice. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and leave a comment below letting me know your biggest takeaway. It helps me reach more amazing women just like you. Thank you again for being here, and until next time, keep pursuing your bliss.